Lock. Man wide open. Touchdown! Touchdown, Rucci! The other one! That's Nolan Rucci, folks. That's not Hayden Rucci. It's his brother Nolan.
You're tuned in to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, guiding your gridiron journey, none other than your host, former NFL lineman, Ross Tucker.
Oh, yeah, it is. But it's not just any Ross Tucker Football Podcast. It is a Wisdom Wednesday, presented, of course, as always, by DraftKings. Only 2 days away from naming some new winners. Those of you that spread the word via social media, this week it's just a Facebook review of Ross Tucker Pod. Love those of you that take advantage of any of the great sponsors you hear on the show. Just make sure when you do, you email me, ross@rosstucker.com, so I can send you one of these amazing press passes. And then the YouTube shout-out's very cool, youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL. Speaking of shout-outs, Ryan Pells is our latest patron of the day, patreon.com/RT Media. Be a part of the little family we got going, a private Tuckhead Slack channel that we enjoy greatly. Love the interaction with all of you. And I think you're going to love today's big show. A little bit different, not necessarily even within the realm of the NFL, but, you know, when there's something that jumps out to me, like these two young men and what they did on Saturday, I think it's going to be a conversation that you guys are going to really, really enjoy. It's Big Show time.
The Big Show.
So this is a little different, but something very, very cool that I think you guys will like. They're not in the NFL, at least not yet, but I've got a couple of brothers on the show that play for the Wisconsin Badgers. I know Nolan, who's a junior at Wisconsin, third-year junior, has been on the show before. I don't know if the older one, the fifth year, or the other one, as the guy said when he scored the TV. Hayden, the older one, the fifth-year senior. Hayden, have you been on the show before?
I don't believe I have.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the show. I think we had Nolan on like during COVID when he was being recruited by everybody in the country. So for those of you who don't know, and I know I probably touched on it a little bit earlier, I've known both of these young men, I was about to call you boys, but these young men since they were like in middle school. So very, very cool to see them both playing Division I football. And they kind of went viral over the weekend when Nolan, the offensive lineman, not Hayden, the tight end, caught the game-winning touchdown pass against Illinois in a come-from-behind win for Wisconsin. So I guess I'll just start with you, Nolan. What's the last couple of days been like for you?
It's just been thanking a lot of people for reaching out, texting. It's been a lot of text back and forth. It's been pretty cool just seeing all the support from everybody, from family, friends. It's been kind of surreal. Still don't really haven't processed it yet, but it's been a lot of fun.
How many texts did you have after the game? How many texts have you gotten the last couple of days?
More than I can count, just between Twitter, Instagram, and my cell phone. It's just been blowing up a little bit, which is it's awesome. The hard part is just getting back to everybody, make sure everybody knows I saw it.
Yeah, that is hard, man. Really hard. How about for you, Hayden? I know it was Nolan that caught the touchdown pass, but I bet you've gotten your fair share of people reaching out too.
Oh yeah, my same thing with my phone blowing up too. But the funny thing about Nolan is he might be one of the worst responders in the world on his cell phone. So if he doesn't reach out or respond back to you, don't feel bad. But yeah, my phone even has been blowing up too. So it's been a lot of fun couple of days.
So I think we probably mentioned this when Nolan was on a few years ago, but I'm really good friends with Hayden and Nolan's father, Todd, who I'm pretty sure has been on the show, played 9 years in the NFL for the New England Patriots, starting at right guard during the Bledsoe era. including starting in that Super Bowl against the Packers that the Patriots unfortunately lost. So, and we have a very close mutual friend here in Central Pennsylvania. And let's be honest, there aren't that many former NFL players that live in this area. So we kind of all know each other. By the way, I don't know if you guys, if your parents told you, but last week we were at a friend's house and Jonathan Ogden was there. So it was just me and your dad and Ogden just like telling stories. It was amazing.
Yeah, I saw the picture of it, and I didn't realize how small that he could make you two look. You guys look tiny compared to him.
Unbelievable, dude. 6'9", 335 still, and like he looks lean. You know what I mean? Like he looks skinny. I mean, he's got to be the only offensive lineman out there that's actually taller than you, Nolan.
Yeah, probably.
All right, so let's talk about the play. So, you know, we'll put it on our social media at Ross Tucker Pod, at Ross Tucker NFL, so you can see it. But essentially, they put Nolan, who's an offensive tackle, at left tackle, but wearing number 93. He's using number 66, and you blocked for like a second or two, then released, and you were wide open. So my question is this the first time you guys ran the play? Is this the first time you were in the game as 93? Talk me through that.
Well, it wasn't the first time we ran it, thank God. We had a couple 2 weeks of practice repping it, and thankfully I hadn't dropped one in practice. But honestly, at that point in the game, I didn't think the call was going to happen. So just be able to run out there, it's like the whole thing was just kind of in slow motion ever since like from the huddle to the catch. And yeah, I guess the rest is history. But yeah, it was such a cool moment.
So wait a minute, because I wasn't watching the game. I was driving back from my game. So they literally only put you in for that play. So there's like 20 seconds left in the game. You guys are down by 5 or whatever. And they say Zebra or Nolan or whatever. And you're like, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, after sitting on the sideline for 3.5 quarters just to get that call, and you know, no time to warm up the legs or anything, just go out there and do your job, which thankfully turned out well.
That is unbelievable. So I don't know if I've told this story on the show before, but in 1, 2, maybe just 2 games my rookie year for Washington, I played goal line tight end. Now in the NFL, it's a little bit different because you still wear your O-line number 68. I was 68. You just report as eligible. So you just tell the ref, yo, I'm eligible, and they announce it. And we were playing the Eagles of all teams, and I blocked my guy and run like a crossing route. Like everything was flowing that way, and I went the other way, and I was like wide open, but the Eagles brought a blitz off the edge, and our quarterback, Tony Banks, he either got sacked or he just had to throw the ball away. I can't remember which, but I was wide open against the Eagles. And we had, just like you know, we had practiced it for a couple weeks, and I caught every one. I literally would catch it and do like a 2-hand spike and then go like this. Like I called it the Tucker T. I would like punch my hands out. Like I had it all. Dude, by the way, that reminds your bow was unbelievable. Tell me about the bow. And my daughters, by the way, who are like in musicals and stuff, they love that. Tell me about the bow and the thought that went into that.
Well, when you run it in practice a couple times, you catch the ball. That okay, if this ever happens, like, what am I going to do? Honestly, it was just trying to find something that wasn't going to get me like flagged and put us back on the kickoff. So, some guys suggested like, you know, shotgun the football or something like that, but I don't know. I didn't want to be too risky. So I think a bow would probably be pretty cool. And yeah, as soon as I caught the ball, I was like, oh, like, what do I do? What do I do? And then, just did the bow. It turned out pretty cool.
Oh, man. You know what's crazy? Like, that was not an easy catch. You know, like when you watch it in slow-mo, and I saw even JJ Watt's tweet about it, like, it's a lot harder, I think, than people realize when you have a helmet and shoulder pads on. You were kind of turned around, and probably good for you because you're so tall, but high can be tough when it's like high and over your head like that.
Sure. And I the whole time I was worried, all right, can't trip on my knee braces here or fall over in the end zone as I'm trying to run to the ball. So thank God it turned out all right. But yeah, just turn around and seeing that ball in the air was just kind of slow motion. And I don't think I got very high off the ground, but yeah, I guess it looked pretty athletic.
So what's the deal? How are you eligible on that? Because you're wearing an eligible number and you're the end man in the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, as long as I'm not covered by the receiver because he was off the ball.
Got it. So you didn't have to report or anything.
No.
Man,
Yeah.
teams should run that more often. That can really, really mess with you, Hayden.
Oh yeah. Well, I think that might be our last time running that. His cover might be blown, but I have some funny insight from my perspective on that whole play. So we're standing there, and there's like the skill guys huddle, and then there's the O-line huddle, and we're all waiting for the play to start. And I'm standing next to the O-lineman, and one of them, I still don't remember who said it, but they like jokingly kind of said the play. And one of the other O-line's like, dude, shut up. Like, we're not running that right now. And our offensive coordinator comes over and calls the play, and everybody's like, oh my God. And I look over, and Nolan's still 10 yards away on the sideline. And I start waving like, dude, come on. Like, this is it. You got to get over here. And he comes running over, and I look at him, and he like looks like he's seen a ghost. Like, he's just like dead face. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, do I say something to him, try and pump him up? I'm like, nope, he's got it. Like, nothing I can say right now can help. He's done it. So we go out there, and we're kind of like muddle huddle around trying to disguise Nolan. And he walks to the edge of the huddle in front of the entire Illinois defense, and all of them are just pointing like 93, 93, like, watch him. And I'm like, well, that's it. Like, the play's not going to work, cover blown. But then we get it started, and sure enough, it worked. It was insane.
So you hadn't been out there for any other snaps as 93, right? Like in any other games?
No.
Okay.
No, just had the jersey on for the game.
You had the jersey on the previous game?
Yeah, because I think put it in Iowa week, so we had the plan to run it then and never happened. So we just did it again the next week.
All right. So Hayden, like, what were you just blocking on that play?
Yeah, so I lined up initially right next to Nolan. We shifted over in the backfield, and my job was to pick up the guy that Nolan pass sets on for a second. So as soon as the ball is snapped, I wasn't thinking about footwork or anything. I just sprinted right over to his guy, and Nolan lost him outside, so it made it really easy for me. And I just kind of got in his way, put like one hand on him, and just got to watch the whole thing unfold from there.
So hopefully you guys, you don't need to comment on this, but hopefully you guys drank a bunch of Labatt Blue Lights Saturday night and enjoyed it, maybe even Sunday with your teammates, living life to the power of we. Always enjoy responsibly beer. Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. All right. So then he catches it. Hayden, like, what's going through your head when he catches that?
Like, same thing as Nolan. Like, I could not believe it from the moment the play was called to getting over and picking up his guy, and then turning, watching Braden chuck the ball up, just watching it, seeing Nolan go over the shoulder. It was unreal. Now, I didn't get to see the bow first, which I only figured out after. And I don't know how he in that moment thought to immediately turn and take a bow. Like, when I scored, I was just losing my mind last season. Like, I couldn't have coordinated a move like that on my first ever touchdown. So that was pretty funny. But I've said it before. I think that was probably the most excited I've ever been on a football field. I mean, not only did he make that play with as athletic as he looked, but to do it for the game winner is just is unbelievable. And I couldn't have been more happy in the moment, and even now and proud of my younger big brother.
You know, that's really the key, right? Like you guys were losing the game and the game was almost over. What down was it? I don't even know.
Was it, is your second or third?
Yeah,
I
I think,
All right,
it was
so theoretically, if it didn't work, you guys had another shot. But still,
yeah, there's definitely a little.
but still, there's 20 seconds left, and that was the go ahead. That was the go ahead touchdown. So you guys will appreciate this. I'm driving back from Ohio because I did a MAC game, and all of a sudden, our mutual friend Luke Bernstein, he's texting me, Nolan. Oh my! Like he's texting me a lot of stuff, and I'm like, I'm driving. Like what? Like what? What is going on? He just caught the game-winning touch. I'm like, Hayden. He said no, Nolan, which makes it even better. That I talked to my wife about this. I talked to a lot of people about it. I don't even know who the play-by-play guy was for FS1, but he made that. Whoever that guy is, I want to congratulate him. He made that even cooler. Like that call as a broadcaster, right? Like I'm into that. That call was so awesome. He's like, touchdown, Rucci, the other one.
Yeah,
that is the best.
He's the Charlotte Hornets announcer, and I've heard him before. Like I've heard, because he has so many like amazing calls and that are just hilarious and so energetic like that. And I remember the first time that I watched the video and heard the call, I'm like, this sounds like the Charlotte Hornets announcer. And then somebody else when we were on the bus, like, that was the Charlotte Hornets announcer. I'm like, no way. So it was pretty funny.
That's amazing. All right, I got two more for you guys quick. Nolan, did you think about like the possibility at all that like you could drop it? Because I've thought about that Eagles play, and like it would have been amazing if I scored a touchdown against the Eagles. But what if I dropped it? Like I would that would really have sucked for me forever.
Yeah.
I live back here.
Oh, I know. I'm still thinking about what if. I mean, I don't know. I probably would have had to go into witness protection and change my name. But
I don't think they have witness protection, dude, for 6'8.5", 320. I think you just roll with it.
Yeah, but luckily it was the good outcome and not the bad one. So I get to live with that every day.
All right, last one, Hayden. Saturday night, home game, Ohio State, NBC. Place going to be rocking. How excited are you for this opportunity?
This is what you play college football for opportunities like this, especially in Madison. I mean, no better home environment against a great team coming in here under the lights, night game. It's gonna be pretty special.
Awesome. Good luck. Thank you guys so much for coming on the show, man. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ross.
Hopefully you guys like that as much as I did. I know this. In football, the fourth quarter is where the magic happens. It's where games are won, where champions are made. And in business, it's where sales teams become legends. That's why HubSpot built Sales Hub, to give sales reps the deal-making tools they need to win their Q4. Sales Hub's prospecting workspace organizes your schedule, goals, and to-do lists in one place to save your team precious fourth quarter time. And Smart Sequences help sales reps close deals faster than ever. So get ready to dominate Q4 with Sales Hub. Learn more at HubSpot.com/sales.
Tuck's Takes.
All right, Ross, we'll start. Chiefs linebacker Nick Bolton got wrist surgery, and he's going to go on the IR. He's out about 8 weeks, while wide receiver Justin Ross was arrested in Kansas.
Feels like anecdotally there's a decent amount of guys getting arrested. I mean, obviously that's going to be the next Tuck's Take as well. I don't know what I didn't even look that closely into what Justin Ross allegedly did. I know that it was a felony, and then now instead of a felony, now it's 2 misdemeanors, which is a positive for him. But, it's never a good thing to be in the mix with that kind of stuff, no matter what happened, especially when the Chiefs have so many other receivers and you haven't exactly distinguished yourself among them. The thing I'll say, I got two thoughts on the Bolton wrist surgery. Number one, he's a really good player. He is a really good player, and he's a difference-making player at the linebacker position. People have different opinions on linebackers and their value and all that. Nick Bolton is absolutely a difference-making player at that position. Number two, though, if you remember, we had Drew Tranquil come on the show. Was that in the summer, Jack?
Yeah, that had to be after he had signed. So, yeah, that was late spring, summer.
I remember he said nothing had been promised to him. They were bringing him in to compete. And I think he might have been in some packages before this. But then now Bolton's out for at least 8 weeks. You know how awesome it is for the Chiefs and their general manager, Brett Veach, that they already have Drew Tranquil there? Like a legitimate starting linebacker who's athletic, made a bunch of plays on Sunday against his former team, the Chargers. I always say there's a reason why the good teams are as good as they are. And a big part of that is because of things like this. They signed Tranquil as a free agent, even though he wasn't going to start, because they knew he'll probably start at some point. Just smart.
Saints wide receiver Chris Olave was arrested on suspicion of reckless driving.
Everything I just said about Justin Ross pretty much applies to Chris Olave as well. Just never good when you're in the news for these reasons. I will say it feels like nowadays the NFL takes their time before they make any decisions in terms of punishment. They let the entire legal process play out now, it seems like, before they actually make a decision as to any type of suspension.
Lions released wide receiver Marvin Jones after he announces he's stepping away from football for family reasons.
This doesn't happen very often, especially during the middle of the season, so I'm going to make it my Labatt take. It's presented by Labatt Blue Light, the pristine Canadian Pilsner. Enjoy your beers together so you can live life to the power of we. Always enjoy responsibly. Beer, Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. So NFL players are human beings, just like you, just like anyone else. And sometimes those human beings have serious family issues that come up. I mean, think about Marvin Jones. Think about how good the Lions are right now and how bad this must be for him to need to step away from football to attend to this. I think sometimes we forget about the fact that these guys are still real people with real issues going on. So whatever it is for Marvin Jones, I hope everything's okay. I hope he's able to handle it and that everything ends up being positive for him and his family, because knowing him, I can't imagine he would do something like this unless he really needed to.
Broncos safety Kareem Jackson was suspended 4 games for repeated dangerous behavior, but that got reduced to 2 games on an appeal by jointly appointed hearing officer Derek Brooks.
So, listen, Kareem's been on the show. Glad he's been on the show. But the suspension was probably warranted. I mean, 5 times in 7 games, he did something that rose to the level of being fine-worthy. I appreciate that he wants to hit people hard and set the tone. In fact, I love that. But it doesn't need to be this often to the head or neck area of a defenseless player.
Cardinals put tight end Zach Ertz on the IR with a quad injury, and they released safety Kayvon Wallace.
The Kayvon Wallace one is surprising. I thought they were really happy with him. I thought he was really playing well. And Zach Ertz feels like he's been kind of in and out of the lineup, in and out of being hurt the last couple of years. That's a bummer for me because I'm calling the Ravens at the Cardinals on Sunday. I know Zach. I was looking forward to watching him play. Just some other news too, Jack. The Dolphins put offensive lineman Isaiah Wynn on IR. He had a quad injury, and the Rams released kicker Brett Maher, who, man, he had 3 missed kicks that really, really hurt the Rams on Sunday in their game against the Steelers. Before I forget, by the way, we are exactly 2 months away from Christmas. Just go to myfrontpagestory.com. It is the best gift you could ever give a loved one. I highly recommend myfrontpagestory.com. I think we're done here.
Thanks for tuning in to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. Make sure to also check out Even Money, Fantasy Feast, and College Draft, all on the DraftKings Network on Samsung TV Plus, YouTube, or subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform.
Shout outs other than myfrontpagestory.com. How about Sporticulture? Love their stuff. How about humanheadnyc.com, steakhousesports.com, go-bengals.com, backofficescheduler.com, and the always delicious Pizza Boy Brewing.